She refused to shake a black CEO's hand. The next morning, $2.4 billion vanished overnight. Gloria Martin had never liked attention. She liked quiet mornings, black coffee, and the sound of her cat, Muffin, scratching at the back door. She lived in a white-painted house at the end of Maple Drive, where the lawns were neat, the neighbors smiled politely, and everything felt predictable. Gloria liked predictable. But life, as she was about to learn, doesn't care about predictable. It was Thursday morning when she got the call from her company, Motivational Industries. After 32 years of service, Gloria had been chosen as one of the senior staff to attend a special event in the city, the introduction of the new CEO. Mandatory attendance, her boss said. Big change coming. She sighed, thinking about the long drive, the fancy speeches, the fake smiles. Still, she pressed her favorite gray blazer, put on pearl earrings, and told herself it was just another workday. The event was held in a tall glass building that sparkled under the morning sun. Reporters crowded outside, and camera flashes made the lobby shine like stars. Gloria followed the other employees inside, clutching her purse tightly. Then she saw her, Mrs. Natasha Blackwell, the new CEO. Tall, confident, beautiful. Black skin that glowed under the lights, a smile that could calm a storm, and eyes that saw everything. She walked in with grace, shaking hands, thanking everyone for coming, calling them by name even though she'd only been there a week. People whispered around Gloria. She's so smart. Used to run a tech company in Atlanta. She's the youngest CEO in Motivational history. She's going to change everything. Gloria forced a smile, clapping along with the others, but inside something felt tight, like a knot she couldn't untie. She told herself it was just nerves, maybe jealousy, maybe fear of change. When it was her turn to meet Mrs. Natasha, everything went wrong. Mrs. Natasha reached out her hand with a warm smile. "You must be Gloria Martin. I've heard such great things about your department." Gloria froze. Something, pride, confusion, maybe prejudice she didn't even know she had, stopped her from taking that hand. Instead, she folded her arms and gave a stiff nod. "Oh," Mrs. Natasha said softly, her hands still hanging in the air. "All right, then." She dropped it gently and moved on to the next person, her face calm, but her eyes colder. The moment lasted only a few seconds, but it felt like hours. People noticed. Some whispered. Some frowned. And Gloria, trying to act like nothing happened, suddenly wished she could disappear. That night, she sat at her kitchen table, replaying it in her head. "It wasn't a big deal," she muttered to Muffin. "I just didn't feel like shaking hands. That's all." But even Muffin didn't seem to believe her. The next morning, everything fell apart. Her phone started buzzing before sunrise, dozens of missed calls, messages from work, from her boss, from people she barely knew. She picked up one call and heard her boss shouting, "Gloria, are you seeing this? The company's accounts are empty. The main fund, $2.4 billion, gone overnight." Her stomach dropped. "What do you mean gone?" "Gone," he yelled, "like it never existed. The systems are wiped clean, and somehow your login was used around midnight." "My what?" "That's impossible. I was asleep." Her heart raced so fast she could hear it in her ears. She ran to her computer, shaking fingers typing her password. The screen lit up with flashing red boxes. Error, system locked. And right there, in the corner of the screen, was something that made her blood run cold. A name. Natasha Blackwell, admin access granted. Gloria dropped her coffee mug. It shattered on the floor, dark liquid spreading like a stain. That afternoon, the news broke everywhere. Motivational Industries loses $2.4 billion in mystery breach. Reporters camped outside her street. Police cars lined her driveway. Gloria sat in her living room shaking, trying to explain that she didn't do anything. But no one believed her. "Your login was used," the investigator said. "But I didn't. You were one of the few with clearance." "I swear I was asleep." Then they showed her the footage. Security cameras from the office at 12:03 a.m. showed a woman entering the finance server room, wearing a hood. The camera caught her from behind. The body shape looked like Gloria's. Same height, same way of walking. It couldn't be. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was an unknown number. A voice spoke softly. "Gloria, don't say anything to the police yet. Meet me alone at Riverside Park. Tonight, midnight." The line went dead. Her hands trembled. She knew that voice. It was Mrs. Natasha. Her heart thudded like a drum. Should she go? Should she tell the police? But something deep in her chest, a whisper she didn't understand, told her she had to see this through. At exactly midnight, Gloria arrived at Riverside Park. The sky was cloudy, and the wind smelled like rain. She sat on a bench under a flickering streetlight, her coat pulled tight around her. Then footsteps. Mrs. Natasha appeared, calm as ever, wearing a long black coat. She sat beside Gloria like it was the most normal thing in the world. "Why am I here?" Gloria asked, voice cracking. Natasha smiled faintly. "Because you need to understand what's really happening." "You think I stole that money?" she burst out. "You're trying to ruin me." Natasha shook her head. "No, Gloria, I'm trying to wake you up." "What does that mean?" Natasha looked out over the dark water. "You made a choice yesterday. A small one, maybe. But it showed everything. You didn't shake my hand. You didn't see me as your equal. And now, you're about to see what that kind of blindness can cost you." "What are you talking about? You think this is about a handshake?" Natasha turned to her slowly. Her eyes glimmered in the dim light. Not angry, but deep, ancient, knowing. Then she stood up and walked towards the shadows. "Wait!" Gloria shouted, running after her. "Where's the money? Did you take it? Tell me what's going on." Natasha turned one last time, her voice barely above a whisper. "Stay around until the very end, Gloria. You're going to see how the huge money disappeared. And when you do, you'll wish you had taken my hand." And then she was gone. Gloria stood alone in the dark, shaking, her breath fogging in the cold night air. Somewhere far off, sirens wailed. Her phone buzzed again, lighting up her trembling hand. This time it was a message. Just 4 words. "Check your bank account." Her fingers went numb as she opened the app. What she saw made her knees give way.
Gloria stared at her phone, frozen. Her bank account, which usually held just a few $1,000s, now showed a balance so big she thought it had to be a mistake. $2,400,000,000. She blinked, rubbed her eyes, and checked again. The number didn't change. It was real. Her hands began to shake. No, 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 no. She dropped the phone onto the couch like it was burning her fingers. The same $2.4 billion that had vanished from Mornex was sitting in her personal account. Her mind went blank. It was impossible. She didn't even know how to move money, let alone that much. Someone had done this to her, but who and why? She thought of Natasha's calm face at the park, those strange words, "You'll wish you had taken my hand." Was this revenge? A test? A trap? Her doorbell rang. The sound made her jump so hard she almost screamed. Blue and red lights flashed outside. It was the police. She hid the phone under a cushion, heart pounding like a drum. "Ms. Martin, we have a warrant to search your home." She opened the door slowly. 2 officers stood there, faces tight and serious. Behind them, her boss, Mr. Decker, looked pale and furious. "Gloria," he said sharply, "they traced the money to your personal account. What have you done?" "I didn't do anything," she cried. "I swear someone's framing me." But even as she spoke, her words sounded small, helpless. The evidence was too clear, too clean. One officer held up her phone. "Is this yours?" But he turned the screen toward her. Her banking app was open. The balance blinked like a silent accusation. "Ma'am, you'll need to come with us." Her legs went weak. "Please, listen. The new CEO, Mrs. Natasha, she knows something. She told me to meet her and—" "Natasha Blackwell, ma'am. There's no record of anyone by that name working at Mornex." Gloria's mouth fell open. "What?" "She doesn't exist," the officer said. "No ID, no background, no employment history. We checked." Gloria's head spun. "That's impossible. I saw her. Everyone saw her." But when she looked toward Mr. Decker, he frowned. "Who are you talking about, Gloria?" "The CEO," she shouted. "The woman who took over last week." "Gloria," he said carefully, "Mornex hasn't had a CEO for 3 months. The board hasn't announced anyone yet." Her breath caught in her throat. "That's not true." She remembered the bright lights, the speeches, the cameras, all the people clapping. Had they been real? Or had something else been happening entirely? The officers led her outside. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. Gloria felt dizzy, like she was falling through air. At the station, they questioned her for hours. Every answer she gave only made her sound guiltier. When she was finally released on bail, she returned home to find her house quiet and dark. Muffin was gone. The door to her office was open. Papers were scattered across the floor. And on her desk sat a small black envelope. No address, no stamp. Just her name, written in silver ink. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a note. "Gloria, the truth is never in plain sight. Meet me tomorrow, same place, same time. Bring no one. This is your last chance." No signature, but she didn't need one. She knew it was Natasha. The next night the park was colder, the sky heavy with clouds. She waited under the same flickering light. At exactly midnight, Natasha appeared again, dressed in all white this time, glowing softly against the dark. "You saw the money, didn't you?" she said. Gloria's voice shook. "What do you want from me? You ruined my life." "Did I?" She tilted her head. "Or did you ruin it yourself, long before you met me?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "Tell me, Gloria, when was the last time you truly saw someone, not their skin, not their title, but their soul?" Gloria frowned. "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything wrong." "Didn't you?" Natasha's voice was calm, but it cut like glass. "Yesterday, you refused to shake my hand. You didn't even realize what that meant. To you, it was nothing. To the world, it was everything." Gloria's chest tightened. "It was just a moment. I didn't mean—" "But meaning isn't what hurts people," Natasha interrupted softly. "It's blindness." Lightning flashed across the sky, lighting up Natasha's face, beautiful, sad, and fierce all at once. "You think I'm real, Gloria. You think I'm a person who came to teach you a lesson." Gloria stepped back. "What do you mean? You're standing right there." Natasha smiled faintly. "I'm not who you think I am. I'm what you've ignored your whole life. Every time you turned away from someone because they were different, every time you made a judgment without a word, I was there, waiting." Gloria's throat dried. "You're not real?" Natasha's eyes softened. "Oh, I'm very real, but not in the way you understand." Then, before Gloria could speak, Natasha held out her hand again, the same hand she had refused to shake. "Take it now, and see the truth." Gloria hesitated, her whole body trembling. Her mind screamed no, but her heart whispered yes. Slowly, she reached out. Their hands touched. A burst of light exploded around them, warm, golden, endless. Suddenly, Gloria wasn't in the park anymore. She was standing in the Mornex building again, but everything was different. The walls were gray and broken, papers floated through the air, desks were empty, and everywhere she looked, people were arguing, shouting about layoffs, money, power. She saw herself sitting at her desk, ignoring a janitor who asked for help. She saw herself speaking sharply to a young black intern, calling her sweetheart instead of her name. She saw moments she had forgotten or chosen to forget. Every small thing she'd done, every quiet cruelty came back like a wave. Then Natasha's voice echoed beside her. "Do you see now, Gloria? The money wasn't real. It was never about that. The real loss was what you spent your life protecting. Pride. And now it's gone." Gloria fell to her knees. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." "I know," Natasha said softly, "but the world does. That's why it's time to start again." The light began to fade. Gloria felt herself falling, her heart racing, her vision blurring. And then, silence. When she opened her eyes, it was morning. She was lying on her couch, sunlight spilling through the window. Her phone buzzed. A message appeared on the screen. "Your account balance, $0." She sat up, gasping. Everything looked normal again, except the black envelope on her desk, which was now empty except for a single line written in silver ink. "Redemption starts with a handshake."
Gloria sat there for a long time, staring at the note. Her heart was heavy, but strangely calm, as if some invisible storm had finally passed. Outside, the world went on as usual. Birds sang, cars passed, the air smelled of rain. Yet everything felt different, sharper, more awake. She picked up her phone and called her boss. To her surprise, he answered right away. "Mr. Gecker, it's Gloria." A pause, then confusion. "Gloria who?" "It's me, Gloria Martin, from Mornex." He hesitated. "I think you have the wrong number, ma'am. I don't know any Gloria Martin." The line went dead. She froze. Slowly, she turned to her laptop, opened the Mornex website, but the page didn't exist. The search results said, "No company by that name found." The world had moved on, as if Mornex and everything tied to it had been erased. Her hands trembled as she opened her banking app again. Balance, 0.00. But underneath the numbers, something new had appeared. A small message glowing faintly in gold. "Thank you for choosing to see." Then it faded. Gloria pressed her hands to her face and cried, not out of fear anymore, but out of something deeper. Regret, maybe. Or release. That evening, she walked through town, noticing things she'd never seen before. The laughter of children, the kindness of strangers, the faces she used to ignore. At a small cafe, she stopped to help a young woman pick up spilled papers. The woman smiled gratefully and offered her hand. Gloria hesitated for a half-second. Then she took it, firmly, warmly. In that moment, she felt something shift, like a door opening inside her. And then she saw it. Through the cafe window, across the street, stood Natasha, dressed in white again, smiling softly. She raised her hand, not to wave, but to salute. A quiet promise. Then she turned and walked away into the sunlight, disappearing like mist. Gloria didn't chase her this time. She didn't need to. She understood now. The $2.4 billion was never real money. It was a mirror, showing the cost of blindness, the price of pride. It vanished because it never belonged to the world. It belonged to her heart, her lesson, her awakening. From that day forward, Gloria lived differently. She spoke less and listened more. She looked people in the eye, no matter who they were. And every morning, before her first cup of coffee, she whispered a quiet promise to herself. "I will never turn away again." No one ever found out what really happened to the money. No one could explain the missing CEO, the erased company, or the vanished files.
But sometimes, late at night, when the wind howled outside her window, Gloria thought she heard a soft voice, strong, calm, familiar, whispering in the dark. The world changes one handshake at a time. And every time she heard it, she smiled. Thanks for watching. Endeavor to leave a comment and like the story if you got entertained.